I'm gonna try a different guy. I guess I'll try the male. We'll try the ranger. I'm gonna try this guy. See what we can do.
Wolfgar! Even bigger in person. Kartik Stoneroller here, your friend Regis told me you'd be by.
Regis sent you? Where is that lays about? We need him on the battlefield.
Oh, really? Regis said the war was over, but he also said that I should stay here and make sure you're supplied with anything you might need. For a fair price, of course.
He sounds like the guy from Django.
Anything and everything for the discerning barbarian. Always got time for my favorite reggae.
CPU's at 74%. Not bad, because I'm recording as well. Just holding up well. Seems to be.
The United Peoples of Icewind Dale had defeated Kessel's armies, and it was not goblins that drove the Battlehammers from their halls. It was Duergar. They came from the Underdark, and had penetrated the lower halls, exposing the dwarves to attack. With the dwarven warriors off fighting Kessel, those dwarves who remained behind were no match for the invading Duergar. Before the Battlehammer halls could be secured, we would have to seal the Duergar breaching tunnels.
Okay. Fake Kratos.
Could you go on an adventure or something? I want to get inside
Going now, actually. Icewind Dale. Never did this one before. So you could play the whole story just with level 1 characters. Just keep switching on easier, whatever the difficulty requires it to be. So you don't really need people. So if we try to join someone right now, chances are we'll go somewhere like later in the game. Which we can do later, but I want to do this first. New quest. Albeit solo. That's fine. It's fine.
The evil creatures invading the Dwarven Valley will soon meet their match. By way of my hammer.
They each have a unique dialogue for every mission as well. That hurts. Jeez. Dwarven runestone. Boy. It's a trap world. It seems. I can break this wagon in one hit. Something is missing. Something. Some sort of goblin gay.
Surface dweller.
I'm just passing through, man. I'm just passing through.
Come, Musgart, show me your steel.
True. Nice. Taking it all in again. I got it already? I didn't do it. I didn't go to the lower halls. I didn't do that.
Dale does not want you, troll.
Oh, they all have range attacks, I guess. Hey. Ow.
Another chance for glory.
This guy's pretty good. My guy. Barbarian. Viking?
Tempest
He's a
is
Viking.
watching.
Wait, is he gaining HP? Can't have that. Can't have that.
Hear my hammer ring.
One BIOS. BIOS can be horse. A common ring. Nice. Oh.
Durgar dug through from 4 tunnels. All 4 must be sealed back up.
Let me do that again. Seems interesting. Okay. I'm gonna try one more time. I have an idea. Oh, I landed that one.
Well, waiting for a moment. So you believe the rumors? It must be. It speaks to us. I've heard you speak. Does that mean you're intelligent? We'll revisit that remark once our lines are secure.
What are they talking about? Okay. Tikis.
Champion challenges me!
Oh. Fake Thor. Alright. His ultimate set. Damn. You hurt his skull of metal.
It's the Barbarian King!
He's the Barbarian King?
Stop being a coward and come, Barbarian!
Oh, God.
Another chance for glory!
Poison, eh? It's gone now. Whatever that does. We sealed the Dragar thing. That's the mine. Okay. Understandable. Thought I jumped. Tap it 100 times. Free my mind.
Come, Musgard! Show me your steel! Bring me the hammer!
Bring me this hammer. I need that. No one's listening to him.
Find more experience.
That works. I need your boots. I need your boots, and your boots. You forgot to say boots. One tablet. Alright, let's grab the ledge technology. Okay, what, it wants me to go there? I just came from that way, nope. Oh yeah, okay. Alright, what's over here though? Seems like the main way. Common necklace. Can't control that, by the way.
Engage the enemy.
Am I the enemy? That doesn't work every time. Hey, thanks for doing that. I think you break this.
We should drive out the goblins and these shard mages. We don't have the numbers. Once the dwarves fled, we drove out the old and infirm. Their counterattack would have wiped us out. So we run? I'd rather die by a battle hammer axe than go find a dwarf to oblige you and leave me in peace.
Goblin.
Yes, I didn't destroy the shard, so it's here somewhere. Enemy spotted!
Alright. Who's this guy? Red Troll? Nice. That didn't hit me at all. Nice. Woo. Interesting, interesting. AoE, AoE. What is going on in this cave? Nani? There's a lot here. There it is. I see. Tablet. You can read those, but there's too many. Too many, man. If I wanted to read, I'd get the books, man. But we'll read it sometime, I guess. Someday. Okay. All right. I get it. Looks like a banjo. Got it. Hold up. I had a feeling. want to get up there. Should work. Patience. Now, why would you put a chest up there? That's very mean. Nailed it. Let me go back. I think there's something else here. It's probably loops. Can I make it so the camera moves faster? Field of view. Whoa! Are we okay with this? Not sure. Mouse. That might mean controller as well. Going to assume. What's the closest? Whoa. That is close. That's some Resident Evil closeness. That's pretty good. Sure. Wait, I kind of like the default one. NGL. Player outlines. That's fine. Uncommon gloves. Just call it gloves.
We need to prepare for a battle hammer counterattack. You think it's coming? Did you see any warriors defending their halls? Suppose not. Then clear the illithid slime from your ears and set to task. See to your own readiness. My mind is clear and my weapon ready.
I think that's the main way. Run! This could be bad. That's lava. Wrong floor. How you doing?
Time to add to my count!
They drop a bomb when they die. What is this, Call of Duty? Ow. Ooda. That works.
These are dwarven lands!
Yes, and you're killing dwarves.
Be the barbarian!
Your point? Do you say wait?
Say we are trapped. We're never trapped so long as we have taken and some 5 years digging is enough. You think we'll survive here? We dig in. We stand our ground. We claim these caves for our own.
Mountain Dew beard.
We had enough.
Mountain Dew beard.
If we can hold Banger's span, our armies will reach the surface. But there will be more competition for the shard. Dwarves. Their defenses were nothing but an annoyance.
You're not dwarves? You fools!
Finish it then!
Bruh. I'm okay with this. They thought they were gods. Let me go back. I feel like I'm going forward. Can't have that. Can't have progress here. Whoa. Legendary necklace. Nice. Yeah. Aren't there supposed to be like bad guys after I get that? Nope. Not this time. Okay. Turn ever so slowly. Interesting. Tome. Tomatoes. Got it.
We can secure these halls. It won't matter if the Brewers come back. This valley will be ours.
That might be the main way. I'll drink to that. The poison. Darn. One touch. It hurts. It's gonna hate, I tell you.
Walls are a waste of our energy. My back, we never recovered. We're still no closer to finding the shard. Those... Look at them. We wouldn't be reduced to working with trolls in the first place.
This seems difficult.
Fight me, Elf Warrior!
Hey. Oh, that's sick. Woo! That was cool, man. What are they throwing? Flip it. Flip it open, flip it closed. Oh, no, no.
Show me how the elf tried to Hear my hammer ring!
Oh, no. Trinket. Not good, not good.
You fall to Wolfgar!
What? Oh, he's healing. I don't like that. Not one bit. Comes at him with the hammer. Why so healy? Oh. How do you do the thing? He's dead. Everything's fine. What is that? It's nothing, a dead end. Is it, though? Yeah. 2 more Draugr supplies. It's a lot. How much deeper does this go? How do I get back quick? Maybe I have to walk all the way back? Maybe that's the main way. Who knows? It is optional. Optional quest. Optional. Pretty long mission. When you're solo, at least, I guess. Oh, man.
Trolls would have been useful in the assault against the dwarves. But it turns out we didn't really need them. There's no harm in keeping them around until the main body arrives. As long as they don't turn on us before the falls. Just keep them calm and well-fed. And keep something flammable at them. Well-fed? Yeah. With what is my concern?
It's not me. You're mistaken. I'm the one who does the rob.
Stop being a coward and fight, Barrier! Meet my kin.
Your kin? I think when he shoots it, while and you're still moving, It doesn't necessarily land where you were when he shot it. I think it moves with you for a little bit. Maybe. Kind of BS. If that's true. Maybe he predicted it. He predicted where you were going to go. That's how D&D works sometimes. Like, oh, he knew you were going to be there. He rolled intelligence 50 or something. I don't know how it works exactly. D&D challenge, 1 session. That's it. You have to finish the thing in 1 session. Finish the story. Nice, I broke a wagon. It's over here, though. There's a lot of things. 9 out of 10, though. Oh. The Scroll of Omnum-Ra. Tome. That's a scroll, though. It's the Elder Scrolls, man. That ain't no tome. No. Blocky. The dwarves would have loved Minecraft. They could still do it, I guess. I sense a battle. A lot of explosion things around here. Why? No reason at all. Okay. Just trying to paint a story, I guess. Things happened here. They built the trench, defending this door from this barricade. I mean, this anti-door thing. Touching story. What? 9 out of 10 destroyed, though. Maybe the last one is outside there. Alright then. Alrighty then. Let's go back. Going back out the front there. So it'd be a minute. It's gonna be a minute. I hope I can get that optional quest. I think I checked everywhere. 9 out of 10. You hate to do that. You hate to be there, not knowing where else to go. Except one way. Okay. Wait, did I go this way? Wait, yeah. Check what I have in my inventory. Like, do I have enough bombs? So that means I already have a bomb ready, but I'm just missing the camp itself. I don't know. It's a banger. How dare you fight back?
I'll melt it down for scrap.
Still rookie. Which one of y'all kicked me? Watch out. Nice.
You fall to Wongar! Tempest is watching!
Just a bit offsides. Let me try.
Troll! Face me! For the Elk's Maid! Troll! Face me!
Got him. Like a glove. Alright, we did it. Side objective completed. That's what I was looking for. That is what I am talking about. Got him. We got him. What? There it is. There it is. Come on down. Yo, what if you go under that, do you die? I must try this. Alrighty then. Yeah. That could happen too, I guess. One tome. One tome. One tome. Marissa Tomei. Did it. Get to the main gate. We did that. Let's go that way. It must be that place where there was nothing there. Now there will be something there. Possibly. Wait a minute. Is this the beginning of the level? Wow. I could have just went left. Alright. Okay. That makes sense now. Okay. Maybe I should have it on, instead of hold to sprint. Make it not hold to sprint. What if I put it on the max if... No. Voice chat. Grass car. Ah. Good. Good. Amazing. To the front gate we go. To go back and forth. I better get some good rewards for this, I'll tell you. Or else someone gonna get hurt really bad. In game. These are not Mario's mushrooms. These aren't your Mario's mushrooms. I'll drink to that.
Face me!
There you are. Oh, there you are, Peter. It's electric. Ah. What the hell are you? This doesn't look good. Yeah. Oh. Okay. As long as he doesn't heal. A red means he's attacking, I guess. That hurt him. That hurt me. My stamina's running out or something. Maybe that's because of the poison, I'm not sure. Oh man. Got him. Huh? My turn, man. Okay. I think we're gonna die. Oh, he's healing. You son of a ditch. Woo! Hold up! Hold up! What? Ah! Nani? Order! Act complete. Companions of the thingy. Dead guy. For a second there, I didn't think I was gonna make it. For a couple seconds, But we did. I can't move. I can't do nothing. That's it. Okay. All right. All right.
Stay with me, friends, and I'll keep you safe.
Level 2. How about that? I wonder if you complete a harder difficulty for the first time doing that mission, will it complete the first difficulty, or do you have to do the first one to get a check mark on the first one? Got a lot of stuff there. 7 legendaries. Big deal. It's a big deal. Thingy. Okay. Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. The barbarian. Is he a barbarian or a Viking? I don't know. I think it's barbarian. Reveal all. Noise thingy. Pants. Thing. Thing. Thingy. Thingy. Hat. Pants.
Regis said he'd let me come with him on his next adventure. For real.
Last of Us soundtrack. We got +8. MF Doom helmet. Gotta get that one. Gotta go with that one. What is it called? Captive of the Abyss. Blacksmith Apprentice. Tundra. Blacksmith Apprentice. A lot of those pieces. Go for stamina. It's got some really good pants. Look at him. He looks cool. Now he looks cool. Sure. Nice. Moves. A and X. A shockwave. Deals base fire damage. Ooh. Okay. Uppercut. Tap forward RT. Punishes slow recoverable stamina. Unlocks violent swing. Press fierce attack from grind launcher. Mighty hammer uppercut that sends the monster careening in the air. Yeah. Sure. Can't buy anymore. I probably shouldn't have bought that one. Break their guard. That could be good. I have a feat point. Physical damage. So it's not exactly the same, but more or less. Same trees. I mean, gotta go for that, of course.
Just browsing?
Skins. I don't get this. Is this a glitch or what? Very slight difference in the metal. Interesting.
Wolfgar, been a pleasure. My favorite ragged barbarian. Yeah, I'll take your junk. For me, you shouldn't have. Gee, thanks. Wow, all this?
Wow.
Mine now.
Upgrade it? Yeah.
That'll do nicely.
I use that a lot. Most of the
Works for
time.
me. Keep it real out there.
Okay. All right. I like it. Liking it. He looks cooler with his customizations. Dritz, I like him too, actually. His outfits are cool too. Well, I'm gonna have to get off though, unfortunately. But it's been fun testing the stream. We're back in action. Stream's good to go, full power ahead. Tomorrow we'll try a new character. Newer characters, the other two, the dwarf and the archer. Can't wait. Oh, can't wait. I can, but yeah. It's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be fun. I'm curious to see their attacks and stuff. Okay.